It was apparent that they loved their daughter and were genuinely concerned for her welfare. Having 2 sons of my own, I could easily empathize with their distress over the possible fate that could have befallen their daughter. Despite their concern, they made plain their doubts about the need for my services. After he sat down, the first thing Mr. Conway said was, "I gotta tell you, I really don't think she needs a shrink." The profession to which I have dedicated my life remains the most distrusted, feared, and denigrated of all medical specialties. There is no anti-cardiology movement calling for the elimination of heart doctors. There is no anti-oncology movement protesting cancer treatment. But there is a large and vocal anti-psychiatry movement demanding that psychiatrists be downsized, reined in, or extirpated. As chairman of the psychiatry department at Columbia University, chief psychiatrist at the New York Presbyterian Hospital, Columbia University Medical Center, and past president of the American Psychiatric Association, I receive emails each week expressing pointed criticisms like these. Your bogus diagnoses exist merely to enrich Big Pharma. You take perfectly normal behaviors and call them illnesses to justify your existence. There's no such thing as mental disorders, only diverse mentalities. You quacks don't know what the hell you're doing. But you should know this. Your drugs destroy people's brains. Such skeptics don't look to psychiatry to help solve mental health problems. They claim psychiatry is the mental health problem. All around the world, people have an abiding suspicion of shrinks, the most common epithet for the self-important charlatans believed to populate my profession. I ignored the Conway skepticism and began Elena's evaluation by taking her history, soliciting biographical and medical details from her parents. Elena, I learned, was the oldest and brightest of the Conways' 4 children, and the one who seemed to hold the greatest potential. Everything in her life had been going great, her parents confided wistfully, until her sophomore year at Yale. Open, gregarious, and popular during her freshman year, over a span of a few months, Elena gradually stopped discussing her sorority life and romantic interests with her friends and parents. She adopted a strict vegetarian diet and became obsessed with the Kabbalah, believing its secret symbology would lead her to cosmic knowledge. Her attendance in class became erratic, and her grades dipped sharply. At first, her parents were not worried by these changes. "You need to give kids space to find themselves," offered Mrs. Conway. "I sure marched to my own drummer when I was her age," agreed Mr. Conway. But Elena's parents finally became concerned after a phone call from Yale's Student Health Services. Elena had accused girls in her sorority of taunting her and stealing a gold bracelet. But when questioned by university administrators, Elena's sorority sisters denied any bullying, and they insisted they never saw the bracelet. They had noticed, on the other hand, that Elena's behavior had become increasingly strange. One of Elena's professors had even expressed concern over Elena's response to an exam question. When asked to explain James Joyce's stream of consciousness technique, Elena wrote that Joyce's literary style was a code with a special message to selected readers with wisdom implanted in their minds by the spiritual forces of the universe. After that, the Conways requested a leave from school for Elena and enlisted private coaches and applied New Age remedies until a friend recommended a popular Manhattan psychotherapist. This social worker was well known for promoting a decidedly non-medical model of mental illness, pronouncing psychological issues as mental roadblocks. As treatment, she favored a form of confrontational talk therapy of her own invention. She diagnosed Elena as suffering from a self-esteem disorder and began a series of expensive twice-weekly therapy sessions to help her remove her roadblocks. After an entire year's worth of confrontational therapy produced no improvements, the Conways next turned to a holistic healer. He prescribed a purgative regimen, vegetarian diet, and meditative exercises, but despite his most creative efforts, Elena remained emotionally detached and mentally scattered. Then the incident of the sleazy stranger's aborted abduction happened, forcing the Conways to confront the disconcerting fact that their daughter seemed oblivious to the dangers of going home with lecherous strangers. At this point, their exasperated family physician implored them, "For Christ's sake, take her to a real doctor," and they come to me. Completing the interview with Elena's parents, I requested the opportunity to speak with their daughter privately. They left my office, and I was alone with Elena. She was tall, slender, and pale, with long blonde hair that was tangled and unwashed.